where the difference is made, where titles are decided, where respect is earned. Excel here and you could go down in history. It's the final third. CVM TV's weekly JPL preview show every Sunday, starting 30 minutes before our live broadcast. Get insight, analysis, and hear from your favorite players weekly, just before we bring you our feature broadcast for the day. Move from defense to attack and join us in the final third. This and every Sunday until the end of the JPL season.
Tell me something that makes a bubble bath even more enjoyable.
Candles. Music. Another person?
It was going so well. Until...
How about some toys?
Your daughters are so embarrassed.
All new.
Good answer.
Family Feud.
Brought to you by We Are the Caring Store, waiting to serve you. It's time to experience independent living. Visit us today.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at noon for Thursday, January 30, 2025. I'm Ramon Gordon. Thank you so much for joining us. The 48-hour curfew in sections of Manchester has been extended until Friday, January 31. The affected areas include parts of Mandeville and Williamsfield, where curfews start at 6:40 p.m., Porus at 7:15 p.m., and Christiana at 6:05 p.m. Residents in the designated zones must remain indoors unless authorized by authorities. Shut your mouth. That's the blunt advice not from me, but from the Jamaican diaspora leader, Dr. Karen Dunkley, to undocumented Jamaicans in the U.S. She's urging them to stay under the radar as the Trump administration intensifies its deportation efforts.
This is not a time to prove anything to anyone. When we were growing up, my mom used to say, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You don't need to go around enumerating to anyone what your legal status is. That is no one's business. Let me emphasize this for those who have school-age children. Attorney Opal spoke about online. There is no school district in the United States of America where immigration status is a requirement for enrollment. You do not need to show any immigration status to enroll your child in a school. If you do this and they're now requesting it, that is a red flag. With immediate quickness, you need to consult your attorney.
Meanwhile, U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee is urging undocumented Jamaicans overseas to know their rights and seek legal counsel as the campaign against undocumented immigrants intensifies.
One of the things that we have always stated is that you don't have to open your door to anyone. If ICE officers are at your door, you can demand, and you must demand, to see a warrant. And I don't mean a warrant that is signed by an ICE officer. You have to make sure it is actually signed by a judge, because that's the only warrant that is valid. And of course, you don't need to sign anything. You have the right to remain silent. The only time that I would say that you should speak up is because of what's called the expedited removal. Under the Trump administration, he has, and that went into effect on January 25, where those people, and it's a nationwide expedited removal. If you have been in the United States under 2 years, and it doesn't matter where, anywhere in the United States, the ICE could just pick you up and you don't have a right to present yourself before a judge.
The Agriculture Ministry is setting its sights on ramping up production in 2025. Minister Floyd Green says stronger collaborations with farmers must be a key focus this year.
We've said to the RALA team, identify in all your areas zones that we need to go into, engage the farmers directly, see what else can be done to enhance what they are doing or to get them to do more. Because what we're on this year is really to see how we can ramp up production, right? Again, as I said, we had a rough year last year, and we need to see how we can get back to where we were year before and past that, right? So we do this for a greater mission because we know ultimately not only do we have to feed ourselves, but this is what you do for your families. This is your livelihood. This is your business, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So the first place that we're coming on this production and productivity tour is right here in Heartlands. And we're here in Heartlands because Heartlands bring together a couple of things. Clearly, we have some farmers who've done well over the years. We have some experienced farmers. We have some young farmers who are looking to get involved. And we also have some fish farmers who have done extremely well. So Heartland brings together a great productive zone.
The Administrator General's Department, AGD, is encouraging the public to set up trusts and foundations to ensure the continuity of their assets after death. CEO Stacey Carty says the AGD currently manages a wide range of interests on behalf of the public.
What it is basically is that you have an asset that you're managing for the benefit of somebody else. So I, as trustee, because the Administrator General is actually a public trustee. So as a public trustee, someone can vest their assets in the Administrator General and we use it to take care of somebody else. So you spoke about the Yendi Phillips Scholarship for the Performing Arts. We have scholarships that we manage because persons have died, created a trust, some of them in their wills, some of them whilst they were alive. We did a document to say Administrator General is a trustee, here is a sum of money. I am from Spanish Town, and I want any child who is from Spanish Town who has a passion for the performing arts to be able to access money from this fund. So we have quite a few of those. We have trusts that benefit Victoria Jubilee Lying in Hospital, St. Anne's Bay Hospital, because persons are passionate about taking care of their community, taking care of persons from their community who might have talent, who might be bright but have a financial constraint. So that is one thing that you can do to create a trust, to have a legacy, and have the Administrator General managing that trust.
The role of fatherhood was put on a pedestal at the seminar dubbed Daddy Download, aimed at destroying the narrative that an alarming number of fathers are absent from their children's lives. Adrian Williams tells us more.
In a society that highlights machoism as the front-running expectation for men, one fatherhood expert says fathers should get more credit as they are doing better than society paints them out to be. President and founder for Dad Ease, Dr. Laura Borland, emphasized this notion at the first staging of what she calls the Daddy Download seminar.
I want us to, when we leave here today, start making an intention to see men for what they're doing, seeing dads for what they do. When you're dropping off your children at school and walking them to school or whatever, or attending whatever, look how many men are out there doing the same as you. Just do a mental count. It is not as crazy as you think. Men are showing up.
Throughout her doctorate study in social work at the University of South California, Dr. Borland identified room for a bigger conversation for the public to learn.
While unlearning some of the stereotypes that we have out there, like daddies don't show up. The research doesn't show that. 50% of fathers are showing up for drop-off and pick-up of their students. 43% of fathers are showing up for their children's after-school activities, and these numbers are increasing year over year. So it's time that we stop this narrative of dads not doing anything and it's all on the moms.
Safe Schools Coordinator for the St. Catherine South Police Division, Detective Sergeant Damian Hammond, is imploring that this sensitization session is needed in other schools and communities across the island.
It is an important topic. I think us as men and as fathers have been marginalized somewhat, and some of us go into hiding, if you will, because society is not always with fathers, because many of us probably are not, at the level that we are expected to be. So I believe that the topic was very relevant.
With statistics showing that men are least likely to seek help or advice when needed, guidance counselor Richard Mendez is urging fathers to find someone to speak with.
Fathering, in my opinion, in this day and age, it should be fun. For dads who are having challenges with the children, with finances, with the mother, get counseling. Find a brother in the church, find a brother from the community, find a brother from the CDC, a center of influence who you look up to, and sit and speak with them, but do not suffer in silence.
As the efforts continue to rid the stigma helping to suppress the progressive growth of responsible fathers, the public is also implored to collaborate in parenting so fathers can have equal ratings in the process. Adrian Williams reporting for CVM News.
CVM News at Noon continues after this.
Nothing beats the never out of style ultra soft 100% premium cotton Hanes underwear. Hanes Comfort Fit V, crew neck and A-shirts, absorbent Hanes socks, Comfort Flex Hanes boxer briefs for men, and stylish itch-free Hanes underwear for women and kids. Make yourself comfortable this holiday season, inside, out, and underneath with Hanes underwear for that cool all-day comfort everyone deserves.
I only have Hanes for you.
Are you living on or in possession of family land? Do you want to sell or subdivide the property? Use eLand Jamaica to search for details on the property. You can complete a title search and verify the owner before you sell the property. If your name does not appear on the title, register the land or clarify the existing title in your name before you sell. A title is a notice to the world of your ownership of land. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. The National Land Agency, one agency, one goal to serve you better.
I only have Hanes. Make yourself comfortable in authentic Hanes underwear. Nothing beats the never out of style ultra soft 100% premium cotton Hanes underwear. Hanes Comfort Fit V, crew neck and A-shirts, absorbent Hanes socks, Comfort Flex Hanes boxer briefs for men, and stylish itch-free Hanes underwear for women and kids. Make yourself comfortable this holiday season, inside, out, and underneath with Hanes underwear for that cool all-day comfort everyone deserves.
I only have Hanes for you.
Welcome back. It's time for our discussion segment. Traffic congestion continues to frustrate commuters daily on major roadways across the country, raising concerns about its impact on productivity. Joining us to discuss the issues, potentials, and the solutions, and the public appeals is Assistant Commissioner of Police, Sir Mackenzie, head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Sir Mackenzie, thank you so much for joining us.
Right, thank you for having me. Good afternoon to you and your viewers.
How significant is the traffic congestion problem in Jamaica right now, and which areas are most affected, if you can tell us?
Right, so what I have to say to you is that our urban areas, and certainly in the cities, Kingston and Montego Bay, we really have large volumes of traffic that is moving from day to day. And it has affected also St. Catherine in particular, because we have quite a bit of development and citizens moving towards that area as well.
Okay. So Mackenzie, we are well aware that the government recently ramped up its road repair operations across the nation, billions of dollars being spent there. Have those efforts, of course, contributed to the issue we're now experiencing?
Right, so as the roads are being rehabilitated, yes, there is some amount of delays. And one of the things is that persons who normally use certain roads and may not be familiar with certain alternate routes, they are also affected. And so on a daily basis, has been challenging for some persons.
Let's talk about that a bit further. To what extent could enforcement be a challenge in managing traffic flow? Because we know that when we see long lines of traffic, we often see persons driving on the sidewalks and driving recklessly. So are Jamaicans, or to what extent, I should ask, are Jamaicans contributing to the problem of traffic on the roads?
Well, we have quite a number of persons that are contributing to the problem. You mentioned about enforcement, but a part of the thing that the police have had to be doing is to do traffic management. And what that means is that we have to be at certain intersections, at certain points, to ensure that there are no blockages. And so what we find is that where the police are not present, some persons seek to, block large intersections, and that causes further delays. And there are others who seek to overtake or undertake long lines of traffic, and in some instances cause crashes. Now what this does is cause further delay. And so the police is challenged in terms of balancing traffic management as well as enforcement.
What is your message to drivers who are watching on and they're like, well, I have to get where I'm going, but you've just said to us that their recklessness has caused some injury and in some extreme cases, death. So what is your word of caution to those persons who, even though albeit very frustrated, need to exercise more caution on the roads?
Right. So what I have to say is that we have a situation where a number of our roads had fallen into disrepair, largely because we had quite a bit of rains last year heading into this year. And so one of the things that are happening now is that a number of the roads are being rehabilitated. We have to exercise patience. What it requires is that persons seek to leave earlier, plan their routes, plan the timings that they have to reach from one place to another. Because it really makes no sense to make haste. Usually that make waste. And we have had quite a few crashes as a result of excessive speeding. More so, driving in a manner that is dangerous to yourself and others can result in death. So we want to ensure that we are patient, the roads are being repaired. Hopefully, we will see a significant number of them repaired in reasonable time so that we can have a change of fortune in terms of how we are able to navigate the roadways smoothly.
ACP Mackenzie, what's the long-term vision, you'd say, for traffic management in Jamaica? You've mentioned that you've deployed security forces at certain intersections to manage the flows, but has there been any consideration of probably integrating technology to probably manage traffic more effectively? What are the considerations there?
Definitely, technology is a big thing. Already we are using surveillance through our Jamaica Eye system. That surveillance system, it is now being enlarged, and I believe that it will make a difference. We also do have to look at infrastructure modification. We may have to look, especially within our townships, to implement more one-way systems, more circulars, to ensure that those roads that are not very large, they will be able to traffic vehicles in a one-way system, as well as to seek to provide more parking and stopping areas. And that, I believe, is where the planners will have to go in terms of improving what we have now.
Certainly. That was Assistant Commissioner of Police Gary Mackenzie, Head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
You're most welcome, you and your viewers. Thank you.
Now to international news. An American Airlines passenger plane carrying 64 people crashed into a river near Washington, D.C. after colliding mid-air with a military helicopter on a training exercise late on Wednesday. Here are the details from Al Jazeera.
Rescuers search for survivors in the cold and dark waters near Washington, D.C. An American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk military helicopter crashed on Wednesday evening near the airport in Arlington County. 60 passengers and 4 crew members had departed from Wichita in Kansas on the commercial flight. And local media say 3 soldiers were on the helicopter. Both aircraft have been found in the Potomac River. 300 responders are on site, including divers, conducting search and rescue.
It's a highly complex operation. The conditions out there are extremely rough for the responders. It's cold. They're dealing with relatively windy conditions. Wind is hard out on the river. So they're out there working.
There hasn't been a fatal U.S. passenger plane accident since February of 2009. President Donald Trump reacted on social media, saying the crash, quote, should have been prevented. Keith Mackey, a retired pilot who's flown into Reagan National Airport many times, says the helicopter pilot had been in touch with the control tower moments before the crash.
We know that the controller told the helicopter pilot, asked him if he had the airplane in sight, and told him to pass behind the airplane. Now, there's some confusion. Perhaps the helicopter pilot saw the airplane taking off and thought that's who he was to pass behind, or perhaps he just got confused and did not understand exactly what he was